Thank you for tuning in to Astronauts Anonymous, where we have concerning concerns about nerdy news, one step at a time.
Why did we let you do that? Welcome to Astronauts Anonymous. Today is July 4th, Monday, and we're a bunch of morons, apparently. Welcome to episode 3. We are, again, Astronauts Anonymous, giving you the nerdy news one step at a time. My name is Joe Bennett.
My name is Viet Lee. How are you guys doing?
My name's Ryan.
And my name's Alex.
Welcome to this week's episode. God, why?
Oh, I got a thing for this.
No, don't.
First topic!
Oh my god. Why? Why do I put up with this?
I'm helping. So, our first topic for today...
No, right.
But I didn't think.
No.
Okay, well, what, you want to do the thing?
No more. No. We're going. God damn it. Alex, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Alright. Well, let's actually just start this show, finally get it started. Alex, how's your week been? What have you been up to, man?
Pretty good. Did a lot of interesting things. Let's see, I played 2 games, actually, with Ryan, one of which is in alpha testing right now. The Forest, and then another game that's been around for a while, but I just came across it because it was on sale in the Steam sale for $3, which was Speedrunners. I also saw The Purge Election Year. And that's pretty much what I've been up to.
Was Purge any good? I've been wanting to watch that.
It is. It's worse than The Purge Anarchy, because not that I was ever a huge fan of the Purge cinematic universe, but it was better than the first one, not as good as the second one.
I love the second one. The first one was, it was what it was. But the second one was really good.
Is that because there was kind of a hero in it?
He was the Punisher, basically.
He was an anti-hero.
Which is basically funny. You have Crossbones being the Punisher.
Yeah. And, well, he was a character who actually had, like, he was interesting, but he wasn't, like, cookie cutter. You didn't exactly know what he was about. And he had an actual arc, which was weird to see in a movie like The Purge, where he had, like, stuff that makes you feel things as a person, as opposed to somebody who's just there to, like, murder people or survive or get murdered.
That's what I liked about the first one. I don't know why they added human emotion into it. I just want people killing people.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, I would love if they just did a bunch of Purge movies, but make them about different topics. Like, have one be about straight up murder, and then have the other. I know this would not make very good cinema, but I would personally love it because it's weird. Like, and then have the second one be about just a financial crisis. Like, somebody waits, a bunch of people wait, or hackers or whatever, wait till Purge night and just decimate the world economy on that one night because everything's legal.
They touch on that a little bit, like very, very little bit, because this third Purge movie, it felt like I wrote it while drunk.
So it's
where
great.
Everything is surface level, right? So there's no depth to anybody. You got one character who's basically female Bernie Sanders, I guess. She's trying to end the Purge, and she's like, we need to stop things. And then you literally have a bunch of crusty-ass, old, rich white men. And they actually say in the movie, like, and they're like, we gotta stop this, Senator. Like, it's really bad. Bubba Gump is in it.
Really subtle with the message.
Bubba Gump is in it, and he plays a shop owner. And actually, the thing that they actually touch on is, like, insurance companies raise the rates on people's property the night before Purge night. And if you can't pay it, then you basically lose, like, your business and whatnot. So I'm like, oh, that's a cool concept, but they just speed past it. Because Bubba Gump is like, all right, well, I can't afford insurance for Purge night. I'm going to have to sit on top of my roof with a rifle and then just protect it. There is a girl who is a high school psychopath, I guess. Her only goal is to get a candy bar, shoplift a candy bar from Bubba Gump's shop.
What?
I'm not making this up. She tries to shoplift one of Bubba Gump's candy bars. He stops her, and she goes, I'm coming for you on Purge night. And then she shows up on Purge night with an AK-47 and says, I want that candy bar.
Like, that's an actual line of dialogue?
That's a line in the movie.
I'm still gonna go probably see it or
I
rent
am
it.
riveted at just the creativity this scene has, brought
Yeah,
up.
exactly. I'll rent it. This is like Redbox type movie.
Yeah.
Series.
And it wasn't trying to and let's face it, if you're a producer and if you're cutting corners because you want to get this movie made, as cheaply as possible, they're like, all right, what can we get rid of? They're like, well, we can just not hire a writer. And that would make sense. Like you don't need a writer for a Purge movie. It's a Purge movie.
Exactly. They're not the most highbrow of concepts.
Yeah, so it has like violence. It has Crossbones, from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's back in it because he was basically the only good thing that's come out of this Purge franchise.
Yeah.
So he's getting paid, and yeah. Omar's not in it, which
Seriously?
yeah, that made me very sad.
He was like the connecting tissue between all of them.
Wait, was he in the first Purge movie?
Yeah,
Yes,
he
he
was the
was.
main character in the first one, wasn't he?
Wait, I don't think he was.
That wasn't. No, never mind. That wasn't Omar. That wasn't the same guy, which I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, Omar. He was in the second Purge movie. He did the propaganda talking about how terrible the Purge was.
That's right. It was the guy that was working with him though, because the guy that was in the first movie showed up with Omar in the second one.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was a popcorn movie. It's perfect for Redbox or Netflix. I wouldn't necessarily recommend anybody spending money on it. And definitely don't see it if you didn't like either of the first two Purge movies. Like if you need a plot and character arcs and development, stay as far away from the Purge election year as you can.
I definitely don't need that stuff to enjoy a good movie.
Yeah.
None of it whatsoever.
That's right. You liked Batman v Superman, didn't you?
I'm never gonna say that. Don't insult somebody like that, Ryan.
Yeah, I would say it's better than Batman v Superman because I didn't have to watch Jesse Eisenberg molest a corpse.
He brings up a very valid point.
What about the games you played? What were those two games?
All right, the first one has been out for a while, but I just recently picked it up, and it's called Speed Runners. And Ryan and I actually played it. I played it with a bunch of my friends. It's on Steam for like $3 right now.
It's amazing.
And
It'll make you hate your friends for an instant.
I already hate my friends.
yeah, and it's the premise of it is very simple. It's a side-scrolling racing game where you play a bunch of superheroes and supervillains who are racing each other. They're all speed-based heroes and villains, and you try to basically outrun everybody else. And one of the interesting things is that like you get power-ups to get faster, and you get weapons you can use against other people. But also, as the game progresses, the outline of the screen gets smaller, and the screen gets smaller and smaller, and the border turns like red and black and flashing. But as the screen gets smaller and smaller, if you fall out of frame, then you die like immediately.
Huh.
So the stakes basically get higher and higher, where by the end of it, you just have this tiny little screen, or space on the middle of the screen, and you and the other person are just fighting not to get too far away from each other. Because whoever's in first place dictates where that frame goes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's really fun, especially there's a lot of replay value. It's very competitive, so you'll hate your friends by the end of it. And it's very fast. Like there's no delay. Like it is Speed Runners, and it's true to its name. Yeah. Also, and maybe this is just me, but I feel like the main song that they play is like almost too similar to that action beat in the Flash TV show.
Oh yeah.
That huh?
That was probably done on purpose.
Yeah. Actually, I think I was playing with Ryan at one point, but I was just like I was racing him, and I was like, "Run, Barry."
There were a lot of Flash references going around.
Oh yeah. We were playing with Chris, and Chris chose the most Flash-looking guy who was red and yellow, but he's a Russian dude, so he's like red and yellow, and he has a giant ball for a head with a Russian star on it.
Oi, comrade, go fast.
Wait, a giant bowl like Jay Garrick?
Like a ball, like almost like Mysterio. But yeah, and then the main character, his name is Speedrunner, and he's actually the least interesting of all the different heroes. My favorite guy is the Falcon, who is a fat dude with glasses and a mustache and a chicken suit.
It's embarrassing to lose to the Falcon.
Yes.
He's a fat dude that just sort of flubs his way across the screen.
There's a shark called Gil, and he's just a guy in a shark suit. And it's interesting because when Gil jumps, he dives like a shark, like into the water. And when the falcon jumps, like he flaps his wings. It's a fun, pointless side scroller. You know, there's no plot or anything like that. And then the other game that Ryan and I played was an alpha test, which is called The Forest. And The Forest, it starts out like Lost. So many Lost references. You're in an airplane. Your kid is asleep right next to you, and he has a little junior survival guide. And the plane crashes. You wake up in the middle of the wreckage and covered in blood to see a savage, not savage, but just he looks like an aborigine, but you find out later they're cannibals. He picks up your son and disappears. And then you pull yourself out of the wreckage, and then you are on this cannibal-filled island, and you have to survive with either by yourself or with friends using any means that you have.
Is it like a survival game, or
yeah, and it feels almost Minecrafty because you end up basically building stuff to help you survive better.
Okay.
So you find like pots, and you can use a pot and tie it to a tree and collect sap. And you use sap to like repair your stuff if cannibals come and start destroying. Because when cannibals come at night, they'll just start breaking all of your stuff. You have to make your own axes. You have to make your own weapons. You can make spears. You can upgrade them. You can find flares, cloth, suitcases just wash up on shore randomly. There are caves that you can explore that are super creepy.
Cover yourself in the bones of your enemy. He looked
Yep.
like freaking.
The Lord of Bones from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
You literally can like craft your own clothing.
Yep. You have to, because you not only do you have to construct armor to protect yourself when you get attacked by cannibals, but also if you want to go to the colder parts, you cover yourself in like deer and animal skin to give yourself cold resistance.
Okay, so this is a pretty hardcore survival game.
Yeah, it with the cannibals like attacking you at night, it felt very Minecrafty in that, and especially with like building stuff to help survive better like in the night. But
I'm assuming better graphics.
Yeah, slightly better graphics. And it's actually, if you actually play on high graphics, it's really nice looking. And you run around. You can have parties up to 8. So this is actually really good for if you want to play a video game online with a bunch of people and you have a party that's like an odd number, you know, like 5 or 6 or 7. This can have up to 8 people on an island. And then you collect stuff. Like I made armor out of cannibal bones from all the cannibals that you kill. Oh yeah, and then you can't leave meat spoiling because it draws flies and stuff like that. If you get covered in blood, you have to wash yourself in blood or wash the blood off of you, or else you'll get like it's
the blood off with more blood.
Yeah. You got to do that Bathory blood bath. Yeah.
He's just trying to like psych out the cannibals at that point. It's like, we're crazy. This motherfucker's bathing in blood, though.
It's funny because you can come across like cannibal caches that they have, you know, like supplies and stuff, and you can find, it'll say on it, edible human leg, and you can throw that on the fire with your other meat and stuff and eat it if you want.
Yeah. Nobody told me that before I ate it.
And it's basically
kind of thing, but he was grossed out.
Whenever time I run through like the forest, I go full native, where basically Ryan would be making something, my wife would be making something, and then I would show up covered in cannibal bones with like a stone axe, like, "Hi guys," and then I would just have a dead cannibal over my shoulder, and I would just throw him into the fire. I'm like, "Don't mind him."
He was trying to attack us miles away from here. Don't worry, I got him. And the quickest way to get Alex's attention was, "Oh, I think there's a cannibal coming to our tent," and he goes, "Where? Give me him."
I'm just imagining now. Alex comes back into camp, throws a body in the fire. Did you find another cannibal? Sure.
Yes. Oh, what's really interesting too is like you see the cannibals. They make like shoulder pads and stuff out of CDs. Like they use CDs as like jewelry.
Yeah.
There's some cannibals will take a flashlight, they'll hang it from a stick on top of their head so it bobs in front of them like an anglerfish, and they'll use that to basically light you up and draw you out so other cannibals can attack you. Huh. Some cannibals will climb trees and they'll jump from tree to tree and stuff.
freaky seeing them jump from tree to tree.
Yeah.
And Alex responded by, "Well, we have axes, and those are trees."
So I would chop down a tree
Burn the
that's
forest!
Burn it all down.
I would chop wood in the middle of the night, knowing it would draw more cannibals toward me, because your bone armor actually wears down very quickly, and this bone armor isn't gonna make itself. So
Yeah.
but it's
better material. I need bone armor.
Alex, the point was to survive, not become a cannibal. What?
whoops. We're past that point, Ryan.
It's us versus them.
The goal is not to not be a cannibal. The goal is to be the last cannibal.
That's the secret agenda of the game.
Yep. But it's super fun. It's an alpha build, so it's got tons of glitches and stuff and problems that it comes across. But it was really good to play, and it was really easy, like most people that could play, even if they had not up to speed computers.
What was the name of this game again?
The Forest.
The Forest.
And the other game, the racing game is Speedrunners.
What about you, Via? What do you got up to this last week?
Man, nothing much. I'm still just coming down off of, His Holiness the Dalai Lama visiting Indianapolis, actually getting to shake his hand and personally speak to him.
That's
that was
pretty
really
awesome.
big to me. So, besides being the sexy radio DJ voice, I run a meditation group, here in Indianapolis. So, the topic of that discussion was just everything that His Holiness talked that Sunday, or that previous Saturday. But no, actually, I've been following the new release of the new Magic the Gathering set, Eldritch Moon. Have any of you guys played Magic the Gathering before?
I've very, very, very little. This was a long time ago.
Yeah, I did once or twice.
Okay.
Yeah. I have also partaken in the magic of the gathering. I've gathered magic.
I am the magic.
Okay, Magic Mike, calm down. Anyway, they've got their new story cycle, and it revolves around the plane Innistrad. Now, in the first release, Shadows of Innistrad, their protector, their archangel, Avacyn, has gone mad and has started killing humans because she views them now as impure. And her primary function as protector of that plane is to purge the impure. So the story goes that just one day she turns and she starts killing random people. So this catches the attention of Jace Balin, which is one of the other planeswalkers in this story. And
What's he so far?
Yeah, I know. Nobody else knows what I'm talking about, so just let me continue to talk. Anyway, he comes to Innistrad, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. He's looking for the planeswalker, Soren Markov. And in Eldritch Moon, he finds Soren. Soren destroys Avacyn. There's another planeswalker that comes in, and basically, I called you here! You never answered! So they unleash some unholy hell beast, and that is basically the story with every Magic set ever.
So it's just a rehash, basically, just an excuse to have new cards.
It's an excuse to add new cards with new abilities, actually.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And an excuse to release previous creatures with new cards.
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Because Jace has been, I believe, featured as multiple Planeswalker cards. There's that dragon, I think, that's been a Planeswalker and a monster, and then a Planeswalker and a monster again.
yeah, Ugin, the spirit dragon.
So it's basically we can make we got ideas where we can make these characters better. So let's redo this.
Right. But it's interesting because in the set Eldritch Moon, they actually release a couple of new abilities that haven't been seen in Magic before. One of them's called Meld. Now, are any of you guys familiar with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game?
Oh God, I haven't played that since middle school.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
It was okay. Do you guys
Yu-Gi-Oh!
remember
still around?
Fusion? Yes, it's still around.
Really?
Yes.
I was unaware of this. Yeah, I remember Fusion a little bit.
Yeah, basically the meld ability that they're releasing is just like Fusion. You have to have the two things that meld together in order to form a new monster. And it has to be the two cards. You can't use card tokens.
Do they have to do a dance and touch fingertips together?
No, that's the Fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z. And, yeah. So.
If they go Super Saiyan and then do the dance, does it last half as long?
No, it actually lasts longer.
Oh.
You know, but, that's one of the abilities. Meld. Another one is emerge, where essentially you pay a certain mana cost, like 5 colorless and 1 blue mana, for example, to play a creature, and it's usually colorless, but you subtract the amount of colorless, because usually it's an ungodly amount. It's like anywhere between 12 colorless or
Dang.
it's a double-digit colorless that you have to basically whittle down the cost in order to get out to play. We all I'm the only one that still remembers the rule of mana burn, where if you have unused tapped mana, you actually take damage for it. But yeah, that's an interesting ability. So, and also they're bringing back the devil-faced cards. Now, have you guys seen the half cards that they used to have? This was something they introduced in the Kamigawa cycle.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, they've actually reintroduced them. They've redone them, and now they're just double-sided cards. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eldritch Moon, the pre-release tournaments are going to be July 16th and 17th. Find your local magic shop, to sign up, or, visit, the Wizards of the Coast Magic the Gathering website for that.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta throw that out there.
Please.
I mean, if you want to sponsor us, yes, go ahead, please. Wizards of the Coast, call us.
Okay, but the only other thing that I really had any notes on is the Attack on Titan Season 2 release date. Now,
yes.
Now, is anyone here unfamiliar with Attack on Titan?
It's one of the few new animes that I've watched. I have not been in the anime in a long time, actively anyway. I'll watch something every now and then, but Attack on Titan was the last thing that I was like, this is really good. I really want to watch this episode to episode.
Okay, well, it's set in a world where humanity lives inside cities surrounded by enormous walls that guard them from these humanoid titans that seem to just pick them up and eat them for no reason.
Because they're tasty.
Yeah, have you seen these titans?
They're delicious looking.
Yeah. But anyway, it revolves around 3 characters.
Look at Ryan's face right now.
Is there something wrong, Ryan?
No.
You don't want to talk about tasty villagers?
No.
Just delicious looking.
Yeah.
Just look scrumptious.
After that and the forest, seeing Alex go all hellion on fucking Aborigines, yeah, I'm good.
Okay, which one of us has any of us not seen Attack on Titan?
I'm familiar with the anime, but I have not seen it.
Get with the times, both of you.
Oh man, I've watched the entire first season. Oh, it is amazing.
It's on my Netflix to watch list.
Well, it needs to be on Netflix tells you can't watch it anymore because you've watched it 15 times.
I have a question about the Titan universe.
Sure.
When the Titans aren't attacking the city, what do they do outside the city?
They don't know.
They never really released that
Not
in the anime.
yet.
They haven't alluded to anything in the manga either. I do know that the Titans are born a certain way, and it has something to do with a great war that was waged 20 some years ago before the Attack on Titan series started.
So the Titans are only about 30 years old?
Yeah. At least that's from what I understand. I'm probably wrong on that.
How old is the wall?
Those walls are pretty big. And
I thought they built the walls because of the Titans, though.
they did.
Within 30 years?
It was an emergency situation.
It was an emergency situation. Basically instituted, and everybody.
I remember the beginning of that series, that's kind of how it started. These things suddenly showed up and were dwindling fast. So we, with our last known city, really, we built the wall as fast as we could.
There's a series of 3 walls.
Yeah.
The outer wall, which is Wall Maria, and then the 2 inner ones. The innermost is where the government is centered.
Yeah.
The second one is where all the military and police and citizens live, and the third one is where the peasants are basically left to die.
We don't care so much if
we don't care so much.
It's
They're
broken down.
Really, just makeshift canaries in the coal mine.
Pretty much, yeah.
The peasants are screaming. I think the Titans are coming.
Right. Anyway, there's been because originally season 2 was supposed to be released October of this year, but for some reason it was actually pushed back to September of next year. Now they've released several different side stories. Lieutenant Levi, who is an absolute badass.
Yeah, Levi was pretty awesome.
Basically has his own movie explaining how he became a member of the infamous Scout Regiment. And if you haven't seen that, I highly suggest watching that as well.
Wait, it's like a separate movie?
Yeah, it's a separate movie.
I've not heard of this at all.
Well, it's only been released in Japan, so I've watched it with the English subtitles.
Okay.
Still freaking amazing.
We'll have to check. What's it called?
Attack on Titan,
Titan A?
Yeah, no. Okay, Joe, I have some concerning concerns about your movie references.
That's gonna be the show enough of this episode, isn't it? The concerning concerns.
Yes, our concerning concerns.
Show enough is like sleeping.
I know, he's adorable.
Shonuff is adorable.
Look,
Thank
stop.
you all for voting on that name, by the way.
Yeah, all 7 of you. Fuck you.
Hey, the
It
voters
got the
have
most votes.
spoken. But anyway, that's really all I had. Magic the Gathering, Attack on Titan release date. I mean,
now on a semi-Magic the Gathering note, for those of you who play Dungeons and Dragons, they actually recently released a Planeshift Zendikar, where they actually took a bunch of characters and races from Zendikar and converted them into 5th edition.
Huh.
oh, that's interesting.
What?
Yo, you guys didn't know that?
You'll have to explain that, I think, a little bit more for me and Ryan, because I play D&D, but I have no idea about the cards or...
Yeah, I've only played D&D with you, and you never implemented them, so...
Well, this is very new. Like, I want to say it came out like maybe a month or two ago. But Magic the Gathering, obviously, you have a bunch of different creatures, right? And then often creatures will be based into different color types. Humans are often plains magic. You've got goblins for red. Well, they took a whole bunch of these Magic the Gathering creatures and they converted them mechanically over into 5th edition rules.
Huh.
So the vampires from Zendikar are actually a playable race in this release, and they converted it to 5th edition rules. The different elves have been converted from Magic the Gathering have been converted to 5th edition. The merfolk were converted to 5th edition. Goblins became a playable race, which was that was the most interesting to me.
Really?
Wait, goblins are playable race now?
Goblins are a playable race.
I did that one time when I was actually a lot younger. Our DM, when I was a kid, he just made it randomly and made up a sheet for goblins. So I played a goblin, basically.
He didn't like you.
No, it was actually pretty funny. It was a pretty fun character to play as. And I did want to say, I apologize to the listeners. If anybody hears like pops or whatever in the background, we are recording July 4th. So just FYI, that is what that is. Normally we record on Sundays, but because holiday week and everything, we're recording on Monday here this week. So if you hear that, just ignore it.
And if anybody hears a gong,
God, why?
it's because it's the next topic.
Which, unless Viet... You don't even know if Viet's done.
I don't, but I wanted to use the gong. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, the gong has spoken, so we're on to the next topic.
Are you legitimately done?
Yeah, that's all I have for today.
See, the gong spoke.
But since we're slightly on the subject of D&D, I like the fact that they have goblins and non-typical races in as options. I've always been a huge fan of that, mainly because, especially I don't know if you guys read like Forgotten Realms or any of the literature associated with. That's the most popular D&D setting.
Yeah.
Ooh.
If you actually sit down and read, especially any like the Drizzt Do'Urden books, it's hella racist. Like straight up, they actually in the Forgotten Realms, all of the Black Elves are magically forced to be evil.
No, this is the thing.
I know.
This is the thing.
I'm just saying.
And it all started when the evil Black Elf goddess stole a tribe of elves from the good White Elf god because he was sleeping with another woman that wasn't the Black Elf goddess. So she got scorned and was like, all right, well, I'm going to take a tribe of elves and make them black and evil.
So not only is it racist, but it's also misogynistic.
Oh, super duper.
Sweet.
The main character in Forgotten Realms that gets a lot of traction, well, the two main characters, you have Drizzt Do'Urden and Elminster, and they're both like they sleep around all the time, and they're obviously Drist is an awesome warrior. He has 2 scimitars and a magic jaguar, and he defeats mages with his swords, and it's super dumb. He has 14 or 18, 30 million books about him, and they're all the same thing. It's all him winning and defeating everybody.
So it's a massive Mary Sue, basically.
And there's actually a short story with him in it where he's murdering orcs, like, just willy-nilly all over the place, and has a whole philosophical conversation about whether or not orcs are racially capable of being good.
Who is the author?
That's R.A. Salvatore, my nemesis.
Of course, it would be Salvatore.
Where they have a thing where they're like it's smacked so hard of Rudyard Kipling, it just really bothered me. And it's stuff like that, like the unsettlingness of it, how they're just like all dark elves are evil except for Drist, who's the one good dark elf.
It's his one black friend, you know.
Yeah. To which I'm thinking something that's always bothered me, if you have a city and everybody's evil, do you fix the roads? Because that would help people. Like, surely you'd want to hurt their feet, but if you don't fix the roads, then you're not going to be able to move wagon trains. So, like, it's, how do you have just an all-evil city? How does an all-evil city know they're evil? You know what I mean?
I guess it depends on how they define evil.
Well, in Forgotten Realms, they have very much of evil. Like, if you're evil, you have to hiss, you have to be into, like, necromancy.
So they're cartoon villains, basically.
Yeah, but not even
cartoon villains.
I know, because that's honestly an insult to cartoons like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Saturday morning '90s cartoons.
Oh yeah. So very much like some of you've seen in X-Men, the Sentinels or Magneto.
Well,
yeah, sorry, that was my little tangent. I apologize.
No, it was a good tangent to go on.
That's a great tangent because I have 0 topics to bring up. Joe.
So I'm taking we're just skipping Ryan this week.
I was sick as fuck and I took care of a kitten. End of topics.
That's some good topics.
Ryan, I believe you mean to say you were sick as flip. Thank you.
Yeah.
There was flip happening with my sickness and not fuck. I mean flip. Fuck. I fucked up. Fuck.
Alright.
You flipped up, sir.
I'm gonna beep this one a lot.
You flippity flip this up something good, Ryan.
Well, you just messed up because I'm gonna beep all that, make it sound like you just.
Oh, Ryan, you need to, for any time someone says a curse word, you need to make the gong sound.
Oh yeah.
Like find a digital gong, like ding.
You mean like this? Joe, it's your turn.
Why? Well, enjoyed my holiday weekend. I went down to Louisville, visited my sister, and pretty much spent the entire weekend getting tackled by a 2- and 3-year-old. That was fun. I know they're adorable, so it was all right. We watched a lot of Zootopia. I've never seen Zootopia until this weekend. Now I have seen it at least 5 times.
Is it good though?
Yeah, Zootopia is actually really good. It's actually surprisingly good.
By and large, Disney's actually starting to have a better track record than Pixar.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say Disney's starting to have a better track record than Pixar?
Than Pixar. Yeah, because they are separate studios.
Wait,
like they're part of the Disney. They're all part of the House of Mouse, but you have Disney animated films and you have Pixar animated films.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, other than that, I've been kind of an older game, but I've been playing a lot of Mad Max. That game is surprisingly okay. I can't really say it's good, but for some reason it's really compelling. I love just playing it. It's one of those games that you can see what they were trying to do, and it has a lot of potential, but it's really, really repetitive. Like, there's not really much to it. You keep doing the same thing over and over. Like, you'll go raid a camp, beat all the bad guys, blow some things up, rinse, repeat throughout the whole thing. But for some reason, I'm on this thing where it's really fun to just drive around the environment. The environment of it is really beautiful. It's kind of like the movie, how there wasn't really much to the movie itself.
Yeah, I don't remember the environment being beautiful. I remember it being a desert wasteland. What
It
is the
is.
definition of
Well,
beautiful?
no, but still, the cinematography in that's exactly the point. It's a very desolate desert land, and there's not as much to it, but the way it looks, like, it's a very beautiful film to watch.
like when Nux looks at the giant storm, like the giant nuclear storm.
And then they actually have that in the game too. Like randomly, there'll be storms that will happen. You have to find shelter.
I can't think of a cinematic universe more deserving of an MMO than Mad Max. Actually, if you think about it, Mad Max would be the perfect setting for like a massive MMO. Like, except I would say don't have like levels or anything like that. You're just scrounging for stuff. But you could throw random villains. You could have the doof wagon, in a giant wagon train of people in cars that people have to try and hide from. And it could just be chaos. You don't have to like explain why some areas are weird and some are weird in a different way.
But it'd be difficult because you couldn't have very many people on a server then, because that's kind of the point of Mad Max is that the only crowded place in the entire Mad Max universe so far is Arter from Beyond Thunderdome.
Well, there's also the town in Fury Road.
That's true.
That was pretty.
Yeah. But for the most part, like.
And actually, one thing that you could do in a Mad Max MMO that would totally make sense is have cities rise and fall all the time.
That's true. That is very true. But no, it is a really fun game because you make a car. The black on black, of course, the Interceptor gets stolen at the beginning of the game, and so your whole thing is you're trying to get that car back. So you build another car, and you're driving through this desert world, which is just really fun to do. There's not much to do, and you keep doing the same stuff over and over again, but it's nice to just cruise around. And there's a lot. I wish that this game was popular enough where it would get a sequel because, again, you could see where they're going with it, but there's not enough to do in it. And so if they fixed it up, they polished it up, and they made more missions and stuff, it'd be a much more popular game, but it just, again, not much in the game itself as is. Other than that, I did download this War of Mine on the Steam sale. I got it for $5, which was great, but I've yet to get a chance to play that. But I've heard nothing but good things about that. Other than that, that's pretty much been my week.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, how fun would you say Mad Max is compared to like Fallout 4?
Well, right now I'm just trying to concentrate on not choking Ryan right now with his gong.
You don't want to choke my gong.
Ryan, I think I speak for the group when I say this is gong on long enough.
Wow. Wow, Alex.
Okay, with all these gong references, I have some concerns.
I'm sorry, what was your question though, Alex?
How would you compare Mad Max to a game like Fallout 4? Because they actually have very similar settings.
I've not yet played Fallout 4.
Oh, have you played any of the Fallout games?
Yes, I have played Fallout 3. Oh, that's apples and oranges, because, in all honesty, Fallout 3, it's still pretty. Yes, you're going through a wasteland, but you can't really go very long before you'll end up meeting somebody. In Mad Max, like, you'll see some random cars or, like, one person out in the middle of the desert, but unless you specifically go to a village or, like, a little camp that you find on the map, you can go across the entire map and not run across a single person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, they'll have, like, every now and then you'll see a convoy go by or just, like, one or two cars, and you can choose to just ignore them if you want to, or they'll sometimes chase you. But it's very different. Like, again, you don't have to do anything in that game if you choose to. You can go through the main story, and there's not much else besides the main story. But the rest of the world, it's beautiful in the fact that there's very little to the world, I think. Like, it's just this open desert, and you can just see that the world has burned, basically.
Yeah, and I would probably say that the Fallout universe is very much an homage to the Mad Max universe.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Which I think Bethesda has said that they could never have a game really take place in Australia, specifically because they would get sued by Mad Max.
But yeah, that's basically my week. So now we are on to actual topics. So the first thing that God, Ryan, if you do it, don't hit the gong.
He's not going to do it.
Now I kind of feel bad. Ryan just gave you like the saddest look ever. He's not able to hit the gong.
You've got to trust him.
Go hit the gong, Ryan. God, why? Why do I let these things happen?
His eyes lit up like the 4th
I know,
of July.
he did. He was like a little child that would just like woke up on Christmas morning when I told him he could hit the gong.
And he got his Red Ryder BB gun.
Ryan's eyes lit up the way that mine did whenever I saw a cannibal in the forest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your eyes glow red, man. I didn't even know that was a skin you could get for your character. You just did it.
Oh, I did actually, going back then, I did want to talk about one other thing. My niece, my sister got her this, it's a Viewmaster. Remember the old Viewmasters that we had as kids?
Yeah.
Like those little discs you just put in, you hit the lever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Apparently, Viewmasters now are just VR headsets.
Oh yeah, I saw those.
Yeah, it was basically like this little cheap plastic VR headset that you would put your phone in, and it has, like, it looks like the old disc that you would have from the old Viewmasters, but you look at it through the thing,
and it's like a 3D
and
environment.
it starts this whole, like, mini game thing. It was actually really fun.
Huh.
So instead of, I don't know what's really different between that and, like, the Samsung VR headsets that you can buy.
It sounds like the Google Cardboard.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're cheapish. Like, instead of spending $100 on whatever it is, just strap a little thing to that, and you got the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was actually pretty fun. But moving on to actual topics, the first thing that we have on the docket today, we have a new D&D movie actually coming out.
Awesome.
Yes. They're saying that they've learned from the mistakes of the previous D&D movie, which I don't know what mistakes they're talking about because that movie was great.
Wait,
movie.
Are they implying that Jeremy Irons' perfect performance had flaws?
And what was Marlon Wayans as the thief?
Oh, perfectly cast.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Which the black guy's got to be the thief, of course.
Of course.
Well, because this is D&D, and remember, a lot of D&D stuff that we've mentioned is incredibly racist.
Yeah, which actually they did say that this one is going to take place in the Forgotten Realms. I think they're drawing from that. The writer of this is David Johnson. Apparently he's a big D&D guy. I don't know anything about him, but he codenamed it Chainmail, which, for those of you that don't know, Chainmail was the original name that Gary Gygax gave his game. It was the prototype, basically, for D&D. So the fact that he codenamed this one Chainmail shows a little bit that he knows what he's talking about. I don't know how well it's actually going to translate, but...
Do they have a director attached?
No official director right now. But it's going to be Warner Brothers now. Warner Brothers has been fighting for the rights forever.
Oh, well, they haven't completely and royally messed up any
nerd culture
property.
I, for one, would love it if Zack Snyder directed a D&D movie.
Oh, that would be perfect.
I could actually see that. The funny thing is,
and I want Jeremy Irons doing action scenes this time with Zack Snyder directing.
he should at least have a cameo. I think.
What I loved about Jeremy Irons' performance, and I really do, I love seeing him in the old D&D movie, is he looked around on set, he knew exactly what kind of movie it was, and he's like, I'm gonna ham this up to 11.
That is the truth. Oh my god.
And like the least hammy, well, no, not even the least hammy, but in the previews, they would just zoom in on Jeremy Irons. Now's your time to die. Like, he wants the evil dragon rod. It's amazing. Actually, if they could remake it using all the same actors and just a bigger budget, with Zack Snyder directing, I would love for this whole thing to crash and burn.
Yes.
That's the whole reason you want a D&D movie. Not because you actually legitimately want a D&D movie, but because you just want to see it fail miserably.
Well, and I mean, let's be clear. I love D&D. I DM all the time. Like Ryan can attest to it. And I love running games. I love creating like universes. Every single time they've tried to make a D&D movie, it's been met with some kind of hardship. Either they can't get released, like for the movie theater releasing, like they did for the sequel, or the original one. You run into budget and script problems.
They made 3 of those movies.
Oh, have they made 3?
Yeah, there was 2 directed to DVD or direct to Sci-Fi Channel movies that they made.
I just remember Wrath of the Dragon God.
That was a direct-to-DVD release, yeah.
Yeah. But it had the bald guy who was also in the first D&D movie. Which, oh man, that guy hams it up too.
Yo.
Holy cow.
All the way to 11.
I think everybody in that movie did.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic for any D&D movie, especially in the hands of Warner Brothers. Especially in the hands of Warner Brothers.
Well, you know what? That is not the only great film, though, that is scheduled to come out soon. Because that is the other topic I have, because since we're talking about movies, most of this is actually movies news this week. There's not much else going on.
Moving pictures!
Yes. But they are also making one of the greatest video games ever into a movie trilogy, actually. Tetris.
The movie.
Not only the movie trilogy. They have
the Tetris cinematic universe. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Apparently,
How?
That's the question right now. And that's the whole thing. I was reading a couple articles this week about it.
And what writer had the balls to say, I'm taking this video game about blocks and making a trilogy?
Apparently, the writer whose name I forgot to write down here, but he's going for a sci-fi theme. And what he keeps saying, he said this in several interviews I've read with him. He's just like, I'm so glad everybody thinks that and doesn't know, and everybody's like, how in the world is this going to be a thing? Because it's going to be something nobody will ever expect. And it's going to be great. So my guess is somehow it's going to be aliens and they're going to drop something down and it's going to be really...
Pixels? It's going to be pixels.
Yes, it's going to be pixels.
Oh, no.
But he's been talking up so much and he's been so excited about this film that, again, he's written it as a trilogy and he thinks it's something that nobody's thought of. So basically that translates to me that he is overly enthusiastic and he thinks it's more amazing than it's actually going to end up being.
Oh, kind of like battleships?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, like that.
Anybody?
Ooh, can we have Liam Neeson be like the line piece?
I don't know who
And
you
Rihanna. Rihanna shows up as top billing, and she
Yes, when the final line piece like slides into place, she just goes boom.
Yeah.
I don't know why they like. If you have a good concept for something, okay, I understand that, but I don't know. Like, this is clearly a project where they thought up of the fact that what's a popular property we can use first, and then they thought of a premise from there.
And they automatically just assume Tetris.
It's the popular premise. Like, I don't know. I don't know why Donkey Kong wasn't made first, but or Space Invaders.
Super Mario Brothers, man.
That was a great movie. Do not disparage the name of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
That actually, I want to say, drove John Leguizamo to alcoholism. Because
It did.
who played Mario?
Bob Hopkins.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah.
Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. Yeah, because the two of them would just get hammered on set.
No, they wrecked the car.
Good.
Like, he broke his hand. There's like half the way through the movie, if you watch, he has a cast on his hand because they were drunk as hell during the filming scene of the car chase.
Oh, well, I mean, him breaking his hand is sad, but I'm glad they crashed that car.
That was the only enjoyable part of the filming that I bet. They hated their directors. The directors wanted to make another Blade Runner movie. Like, they were so inspired by Blade Runner that they kept insisting that they try and get it to look like Blade Runner.
Okay.
Well, I believe the Mario director, I believe it was a married couple.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was originally going to be a very faithful adaptation. Two guys in suits jump on Goombas and stuff. And then they brought in these two directors who were like, no, we're going to make it as far away from the original source material as we can.
We're going to make it Blade Runner.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, I hope that
Blade Runner's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
How dare you?
Well, aside from that creepy rape scene with Harrison Ford.
That was a little much.
It was an 80s movie, so.
Yeah, it's just that in the 80s and back, you're just chock-a-block full of rape in a lot of
And look at any 80s comedy. Like, I'm serious. Half the pranks that they play are very rapey.
Oh, Animal House. You know, like going in and spying on women and home invasion.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh yeah, no, that
The
has
trick that
actual.
plays on her is basically he pretends to be her boyfriend. She can't see his face.
Yeah, so he straight up rapes her.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Police Academy, where they pay that hooker to give Commander Lassard a blowjob underneath the podium.
Yeah.
And he just didn't know what was going on.
You would think he'd have a thought.
Hilarious moments in rape. Now, he knew at the time. He didn't know it was going to happen.
He didn't know what was going to happen.
He
But...
Yeah.
figured it out quick, though.
But I mean, you have to put it in perspective.
Experience, but
To that guy, I mean, this is the 80s. So, you know, getting a blowjob under the podium, it's the 80s.
Yeah, pretty much.
like, all right, just gonna knock this speech out anyway.
And he tried. He you know what? He gave it the old college try there.
He did. He did.
Oh, who's the guy?
Wow.
Can we get? Actually,
I
no,
would go.
going back to Tetris though, I would love it if they did like a battleship treatment for Tetris, where they have you got to get either Jai Courtney or who's the guy who starred in Battleship, the same guy who's in John Carter. Like everything he touched dies. Like you can't.
Oh God, what is his name?
Oh man.
You know, I think I'm one of the only people that like John Carter.
Oh well, as I understand it was a good movie. It just had terrible advertising.
It not only had terrible. Well, actually, I don't think it had bad advertising. I remember seeing it everywhere, but then people hated the film when it came out. To me, I thought it was like another pretty good Disney adventure film. It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty fun. It was a good adventure film from Disney.
I never saw it. It looked weird.
Taylor Kitsch. That's his name.
There we go.
Yeah, so put Taylor Kitsch in this Tetris movie because we want it to fail, and I believe he's cursed because everything Taylor Kitsch is in fails. X-Men Origins Wolverine failed, John Carter failed, Battleship failed.
Wait, who's he in X-Men? Wolverine?
Oh, he was Gambit in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh shit, that was Gambit. Okay,
Yep.
Wait, X-Men Origins.
he was the only
Wolverine
good part
failed?
of that movie.
It doesn't matter. The fact that he was on it, he's cursed.
Well,
He's magically cursed. And True Detective Season 2 he was in, and that fell apart and died.
Yeah.
Wow, that's poor guy.
Yeah, so put Taylor Kitsch in the first movie, give him, that narration. Yeah, I was living a normal life, but then the pieces fell. And just, the giant things like falling out of the sky, destroying New York City.
Breaking news. Strange blocks falling from the sky.
We need a line piece.
The only thing that I can think of that they're going to do that they think that nobody's going to have an idea of it is because going back to like the original Tetris game, have it be about like the Russian space program. Because remember at the old Tetris game, whenever you would get it, the further you got, the larger the rocket was next to the Kremlin. You'd always show the rocket launch at the end, and it was standing next to the Kremlin. So
Did
it's going
I
to be
play
something
a
about
different
that.
Tetris?
No, go back and play the original Tetris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the man who invented Tetris never received a dime because all of the proceeds went to the Russian government.
Yep.
Oh, and also, actually, this is going to be a video game adaptation, so we want somebody who has experience creating these video game adaptation movies.
Adam Sandler.
So, exactly. Taylor Kitsch and Adam Sandler co-star.
Hey, I just saw a new Adam Sandler movie recently, and it was... Yeah, no, never mind.
The do-over.
The duo.
It deserved a do-over, and then another.
You know what? Adam Sandler has not done a good movie in a long time, but I actually wanted to see the do-over because David Spade was working with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, and
But
that's why I was hopeful. But they used it as an excuse to go to Puerto Rico for a vacation and then tried to film a movie around it.
he's literally said that's the only reason why he does movies is because it's a paid vacation for him and his friends.
Yeah, it's
Well,
kind of very obvious with the lazy dialogue and everything.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me that he's just doing stuff for money because he's super rich. He doesn't need it, but I can understand doing it because you got to get paid if you're an actor and whatnot.
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me is that Adam Sandler doesn't even try to be different characters anymore. It used to be he would pretend to be people.
Yes.
Like Waterboy, he was Bobby Boucher, Little Nicky, he was the son of the devil. Now he just plays himself, and he always has like a gorgeous wife or girlfriend. He just stands there, you know. Like in the Western one that was on Netflix.
Ridiculous Six.
Yeah, Ridiculous Six. He just talks like this, and he's called White Knife. And he's good at everything. He defeats everybody in combat because he's a combat master.
He's the ultimate Mary Sue writer.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it because he's in charge of these movies, and these movies are going to make money no matter how badly he acts in them.
Yep.
I just wish he would.
That's why.
Well, that's because he made his own archetype, and that is Adam Sandler. Give me an Adam Sandler here. Okay, I think I can do that.
You see, I don't like any of the new Adam Sandler stuff. I constantly go back to just rewatching his old SNL skits because that to me is where Adam Sandler was at his best. I love Opera Man. I love Opera Man.
Oh, the Opera Man bits. That was and I know there's the argument that like people pick and choose like the bits of SNL that they loved, and there's a bunch of crap in between. You don't remember the crap.
Canteen
kind of
Boy, another one.
But yeah, that was probably my favorite era. It was David Spade, Adam Sandler, Chris Farley. It's a call between that and the original cast, which was Steve Martin, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi. Yeah,
No, wait. Are you counting Chevy Chase, or are we going with season 2 with Bill Murray?
Oh God, I hate to count Chevy Chase nowadays just because he's
Racist.
That's one word for him. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, he was fired, or he was permanently banned from SNL for a while because when he was hosting, he said that there was an openly gay actor. I can't remember which one, but there was an openly gay actor like working on the set. And Chevy Chase said, "Hey, we should do a skit where he gets AIDS and then he has to get weighed every week to see how much he's lost."
Wow, I did not know that.
And actually, really fun fact is, I want to say Chevy Chase hosted.
News loosely here.
Oh yeah. But there was a season 2. I want to say Chevy Chase hosted an episode of SNL, and Bill Murray came on stage to show that there was no bad blood between them. And when Chevy Chase and Bill Murray come on stage, they're both out of breath because they had a fight backstage.
They literally had a fist fight.
Yeah.
Does not surprise me at all.
Oh, actually, yeah, Bill Murray would make fun of who's the main actor in Community? Was it not Joel McHale? Is it Joel McHale?
I think so.
Yeah.
Joel McHale.
He would constantly call Joel McHale like degrading names and say, "Come on, punch me, you wuss," or stuff that's other than wuss. You know, he'd be like, "Punch me, you flim flam."
Yeah.
And so he actually punched Chevy at one point just because he was so annoying.
So basically, he played Pierce. He was Pierce.
Yeah. Only Pierce was likable. And actually, Chevy Chase didn't get any of the jokes that they wrote for him. So he would say a joke, and people on set would have to laugh just so he would believe it.
God.
He also wanted Pierce to be the main character. Dan Herman.
Of course he wanted Pierce to be the main character.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting off the topic of depressing Chevy Chase news. He was... the vacation series and all that stuff.
Although, actually, I would love if Chevy Chase were the lead action star in the new Tetris movie.
Yes!
Alongside Taylor Kitsch and Adam Sandler.
Yes. I think we got our first casting.
We've got a hit, fellas. We've got a hit. Chevy Chase, Taylor Kitsch, Adam Sandler.
Oh, the chemistry would be amazing. But again, I want Chevy Chase.
They're out of breath because they've been fighting the entire time backstage.
Yeah. And then, like, Taylor Kitsch would be, like, in the corner crying because he just wants to be in a successful motion picture.
Why does this keep happening to me?
I genuinely think magic is real and someone used it on Taylor Kitsch because he's a fine actor. He doesn't.
Why did I have to make fun of that gypsy woman?
Yeah. I feel bad for his agent too because he's like, "Hey, Taylor Kitsch, we're gonna put you in the lead as John Carter and John Carter. It's a giant Disney movie. This is gonna be it. This is what's gonna propel you."
Very big sci-fi franchise that everybody knows and loves.
Yeah. And it ended up being one of the biggest flops in movie history.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And they're like, "All right, Taylor, that was my mistake. That was my bad. I nobody saw that coming." there's an X-Men movie. All of these movies are dynamite. You're going to be in there with Wolverine. You're going to play a favorite beloved character. This is sure to make it. This is going to be you.
This is going to launch your career. Trust me.
That didn't work, so we're going to put you... Wolverine, you know everybody loves Wolverine. So that's the next movie you're going to be in. Oh, this is a guaranteed hit.
And then, like, after all these different failures, they're like, all right, Matthew McConaughey turned his career around on True Detective. We've got you in season 2. This is going to be great. You're going places. We're going to transform you. This is going to be your reconnaissance. And it failed.
Reconnaissance?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what they called it.
I've never heard that term before. I'm kind of glad I did up until now. Thank you for ruining that for me, Alex.
Yeah, as I understand it,
Like-
McConaughey basically fired his agent because he was tired of doing all the rom-coms, and then just started doing whatever. You know, as long as he could take...
Surfer Dude got made.
Which
Yeah.
was such a great film.
And the Lincoln Lawyer and Mud, those were... You know, he just started doing a whole bunch of indie stuff. Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a good
Which
one.
those actually are. With the exception of Surfer Dude, the rest are legitimately
Come on, how
pretty
could you
good
not like
movies.
Surfer Dude?
Oh my god, I made it about
Oh.
halfway through that film.
And let's not forget Magic Mike.
Yeah.
Wait, he's in Magic Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, are you kidding? Of course he's in Magic Mike. It's a movie that revolves around shirtless men. You couldn't keep McConaughey away from the set.
You couldn't beat him off with a stick.
Yeah. He runs around in, like, leather Speedos and a cowboy hat.
Are there any lawbreakers in here tonight?
Or no, he goes, now the rule is that there's no touching. But I see a lot of lawbreakers in
That was
states.
it.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was it.
Oh my.
God.
Why did you guys see that movie?
I've actually, okay, here's the funny thing with Magic Mike. I've never seen it myself, but I've heard from so many guys that, like, went with their girlfriend or whatnot, and then afterwards they're like, no, that was a legitimately good movie.
No, it is.
It
Like,
is.
I know more fans of that film that are straight dudes than I do
Yeah.
women that love that film.
Now, I haven't seen Magic Mike XXL, but Magic Mike, well, first off, it's a Steven Soderbergh movie.
Mhm.
No, I didn't. I
Yeah.
legitimately did not know that.
Yeah, so we're talking like Ocean's 11, Traffic, Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13. But he can. This was an experienced director. This is Channing Tatum, who is amazing because he has great comedic range. He can be in action movies. He has great drama. Like he genuinely, and he actually was a male stripper before he got into
Yeah.
that.
Literally was.
Wasn't not Chris Evans? Star Lord.
Oh, Chris Pratt.
Chris Pine. Or
Not Chris Pine.
No, Chris Pratt.
Pratt.
I wanted to say Chris Pine at first too. That's what I was thinking, but it's like no, that
I
was.
just want to see Chris Pine shirtless. I'm sorry.
But no, Chris Pratt was actually a male stripper too before he got on Parks and Rec.
Really?
Yeah, he was known as like the comedic one, like the funny one of the like.
The male strippers.
And he did not have because he clearly did not have the body for it back then. But no, that's what he did.
He could totally go back to doing that now
Wait.
and be completely
Oh God,
ripped.
yeah.
Wait,
Women
you can
would-
make money by
And a lot
taking
of
your
guys,
shirt
yeah.
off and making girls laugh? Like, I've
You
used my
can't.
calling.
But
Well, actually, he decided to gain weight for the role of Andy Dwyer specifically for comedic purposes. He thought it would be funnier if his character was overweight. And then when he got the role for Star-Lord, it's like he got the phone call and he goes, "Honey, I need to lose 70 pounds in 6 months. Stop baking." Now, if you guys want to see Chris Pratt taking his shirt off, even though the movie itself was terrible, there's this musical bit called Agony, where Chris Pratt plays Prince Charming, and he and his brother are super depressed that the girls that they want they can't hook up with them yet.
You mean Into the Woods?
Yeah, Into the Woods. That movie was absolutely garbage, but this one scene was hilarious, and Chris Pratt just hammed it up.
I like how you seem to have a encyclopedic knowledge of whenever all these different Chris's take their shirt off.
Yep. I'm always on the watch. I got a little chart here. You can't see it.
And he just, basically he just marks off each time we make a reference. Oh, Chris Pratt, shirtless, okay.
Yeah, I've got diagrams where I have trying to find out how big the pectoral distance is. It's very scientific.
Okay, now you made it creepy.
Good.
All right, now speaking of great movies like Magic Mike, God, Ryan, I will break your phone.
We did because we did. Oh, okay.
God.
It's okay.
But, okay, going on to possibly good movies. Well, okay, we don't know if this is going to be a good movie, but Lone Wolf and Cub is actually been announced as an upcoming film.
That is a classic manga series.
And movie series, too.
Yeah. I remember watching the black and white ones the Japanese did back in the day, and I was just like, this is awesome.
Now, wait, is it going to be an American-made movie?
That's the funny thing of it, is Stephen Paul, who is also the same producer for the new Ghost in the Shell film, is going to be the producer for Lone Wolf and Cub.
Lone Wolf and Club.
Yes, Lone Wolf and Club. But because of the
Stilo
hire
and Rich
that he got for the whole whitewashing issue with Ghost in the Shell, he's actually made a statement that this film is going to be, and I quote, essentially Japanese cast.
Oh, well, did you actually hear about what happened with Keanu Reeves movie, like Seven Samurai?
47.
Or 47 Ronin.
He's actually half Asian.
Well, yeah, but what happened was Keanu Reeves actually really likes trying to promote Asian movies.
Yeah,
right?
which he did the Tai Chi Master movie.
I love Man of Tai Chi.
Man of Tai Chi was actually pretty good.
Film.
It was.
And he designed this special rotating camera so that way you could actually go like across or around the fight as it was taking place. But what he really likes to promote Asian movies, and with 47 Ronin, it was originally supposed to be a faithful adaptation, and he just put his name on the movie to help get it traction, so that way it could get like a theatrical release. But then once Keanu Reeves became attached, they hacked up the script and made him the main character. As I understand it, that's how I understand it kind of went down.
Because that's exactly how it went down, because the original 47 Ronin was actually done in two parts back in I believe the 50s, early 60s. And it revolved around Lord Asano's main vassal, gathering the 47 Ronin to go, attack the one samurai lord who made Lord Asano commit seppuku because he got dishonored.
Viet knows his Asian cinema.
Vassal.
Vassal.
Okay, if I got to speak, it's got to kind of like how you have, colonels, lieutenants, majors, and things like that.
Yeah, lords and vassals.
Yeah.
So if you're a baron, your vassals are going to be other lords of your region, of your barony.
Exactly.
My thing is with this Stephen Paul guy though, like he's so excited he wanted to do Ghost in the Shell, which he's already in trouble for that. And now he's doing Lone Wolf and Cub. Like at some point you got to ask, is this guy a weeaboo?
Yes. The answer is yes.
I'm going to say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
that's like asking if the Wachowskis are weeaboos.
Oh, that's
yes.
major
That's
yes.
true.
That's
well, the
major
Wachowskis
yes.
are just they're an odd couple of girls.
Well, and let's also not forget the law of diminishing returns, where every movie they make gets worse.
Yep.
Yeah, that is true.
That is very true.
Wachowskis are girls?
Oh, you didn't know about that?
I thought they were brothers.
They were. Now they're sisters.
Oh.
Not that there's anything like to each their own, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Because I heard Wachowski brothers film.
I'm so used to because
it confused me.
When I was a kid, I loved The Matrix. Like I had the whole box set with the Animatrix in it. And
I know Kung Fu.
And I had the comic books. I had a bunch of comic books and everything from The Matrix, everything like that. It was legitimately a great series until they did the two sequels.
The second one wasn't as bad.
Okay.
The third one was crap.
When Neo throws one Agent Smith into a bunch of other Agent Smiths, they do the bowling sound.
Yes, they
strike.
literally do.
Okay,
And-
wasn't okay. Except for it was kind of bad.
I don't know what they were thinking with those films. I think they tried to do too much at once. Like, if they kept it a little more subtle, I think those could have been great films. Like, the comic books were really good. Like, none of the comic books and the Animatrix. Most of the Animatrix
the Animatrix
were really good. And there was all these little subtle stories about this world. But instead, they tried to wrap it up into this whole saga thing, and it just didn't work that way.
Yeah, and I've heard that the Matrix was originally envisioned as a 3-part story, But regardless, the second 2 acts are terrible.
I heard
Yeah.
they changed a lot with what they wanted to do, if I remember correctly.
Which is weird because they had all the money and they had no restrictions, as I understood it. They could do whatever they want. So what we got was unfiltered Wachowski.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I don't know. But yeah, going back to Lone Wolf and Cub, like again, it's a great series, but this Stephen Paul, like from what I was reading about him, he hasn't really done much else. But he apparently is just this Japanese loving anime loving guy that wants to turn anime and manga into American movies.
And I think most of us can agree that Dragon Ball Evolution was a mistake.
What are you talking about? That was the most faithful adaptation of a.
Yeah, that was cinematic perfection.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that was a mistake.
Are you saying you don't want to watch Chow Yun-Fat molest someone?
Well, okay, actually.
Now, if you're a true fan of Chow Yun-Fat, you can actually see that in plenty of the subtitled movies.
That's true.
So him molesting somebody in an English language movie was subpar Chow Yun-Fat, I will have you know.
Oh God, we should do that because we were talking about, and for the people listening, we might end up doing a series of just bad movies reviews, and later this week we might be putting up an episode of the 2014 Ninja Turtle film.
I thought you said this didn't exist, Joe.
Oh God, for this time frame, I'm admitting it exists, and then once we record the episode, I am forgetting about it again.
So you're saying that it is the better of the two TMNT movies?
I've never said that. I would never say that. It's worse than Ninja Turtles. It's worse than the Ninja Turtles Christmas special. That's how bad it is. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, he's gonna pull an Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He's gonna review it and then erase his memory.
Exactly. Okay.
And so he'll come back next week being like, we should review the TMNT movie.
So I think that would actually, the Dragon Ball Evolution might be another good one to put on that list.
Oh, yeah.
Right next to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh God. For the
Are we
sake
just
of
gonna
this
start
show,
with-
I'm remembering these films exist.
And wait, is this the same producer that wants to do a film adaptation of Akira with an all, Caucasian cast?
Yes.
I didn't see anything about that, but it might.
Yeah, because
I remember seeing like a long time ago his name attached to that.
Yeah, because Joseph Gordon-Levitt is going to play Kaneda, and Chris Pine is going to be the no, it's the other way around. Chris Evans is going to play Kaneda, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt be Kaneda.
Kaneda.
Yeah.
Kaneda Tetsuo.
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying Chris Evans, Captain America, is going to play Kaneda?
Yeah. They actually released on Gizmodo. Actually, we just saw this right before the podcast.
Yeah.
They released some concept art for their movie that is probably never going to get made.
At least I pray it doesn't get made.
Well, a long time ago, like a couple of years ago, I remember they released the script for the film that was going to be made before they decided they were actually going to try and be faithful to it.
Yeah.
But it was this weird, dumb horror film idea, and it was just awful. Akira sang a nursery rhyme in a really creepy little kid fashion in part of it. So I don't, in all honesty, with the exception of Dragon Ball, what other anime or manga has been adapted? I know there has been something else, but I can't think of anything.
Adapted successfully, you mean?
Just adapted at all.
Oh, Death Note has.
It's been officially adapted to an American movie? I know they're working on that.
Oh, an American movie.
That's what I mean.
Oh, I mean it was like showed here, but not American now.
Like, what is with this sudden influx, though, of, all these animes and I remember a couple years ago when I was younger, they wanted to do Evangelion. They kept talking about that.
That would have been a good one.
Well, I mean, there's a sudden popularity in anime.
There's been... Well, okay. I guess I'm looking at this through rose-tinted glass, because I remember when I was a kid, that it was popular for me and my friends, but we were also the social weirdos, so...
Well, I think anime has had a huge impact because for a long time there weren't a lot of very good American animation.
Dudes, yeah.
Yeah, and so Japan really filled in that gap for a long time.
That's true. Remember, Keanu Reeves was scheduled to be I can't think of his name right now, from Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, he was gonna be Spike.
Spike, yeah, Spike
Right.
Spiegel.
Oh, okay.
He was scheduled to be Spike Spiegel for the longest time, and that just never got off the ground. I remember seeing concept art. People would do fan art drawings and stuff of Keanu Reeves as Spike Spiegel.
I feel like that would work.
I could see it working, but at the same time, like, again, this is one of the points where it's a show that I love, a cartoon that I love. I don't want to see a movie adaptation of it unless they do it absolutely right.
Yeah, and then one of the things I can't remember the name of the guy who was the showrunner for Cowboy Bebop, but the thing that I really enjoyed about him was he would he would do a series and then he would end it.
Yep.
26. He would tell a story in 26 episodes, and then I know Cowboy Bebop got like a movie, but it was very much basically the same.
That movie was so great.
Yeah. And it was so great. Naruto stole the fight choreography from the Cowboy Bebop movie and used it in their crappy show.
I've not seen enough Naruto to be able to judge that.
Well, there's like 1 or 2 episodes that you can watch, and the rest of the series uses those scenes over and over
Oh my
again.
god,
Filler.
I started watching. Okay, the reason why I haven't watched Naruto, because I remember I read the manga a little bit when I was younger, and so last year I decided, you know what, I'm going to start watching this show. I started watching it, and then I realized that I had watched for 5 hours straight, and they were still on one fight.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, watch that little clip I sent you. It's like a little 90-second clip. But you can see what I'm talking about when I say they stole the fight choreography.
All right, I got to see this now.
I mean, literally.
We're gonna watch this right now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Watch it.
And while you guys are watching it, Naruto is actually I think Naruto is right up there with Dragon Ball Z in what I consider to be one of the laziest animated shows of all time.
I mean, literally, because they use so much of the same fight animation.
Oh my
period.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty much. Okay. I actually like the fight between Neji and Naruto.
They just keep looping this over and over again?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Hey, try again, Palm.
Oh no, there's more. There's more later.
Yeah.
I think they're just doing it for
skip
emphasis.
ahead. Skip ahead to the part.
But
Okay, here we go.
But yeah, and even when they aren't doing like recap episodes or previously on or this is what happened like flashbacks, anything they can to reuse old footage, it'll just be 2 people standing there and they'll zoom in on someone's face, but that'll be a still frame and they'll just move their mouth.
Yeah.
And then that person will say something and then the other person will go, "What?" and then be surprised. You know, like the evil guy in glasses is like, but what really you don't know is that I'm evil. Oh, you're evil.
Oh, yeah, Kabuto, when he finally came out of the... Yeah.
And then Tsunade, they had a strong, independent female character, but she's a surgeon who's afraid of blood. Huh?
What?
Yeah, no.
Literally, that is a thing.
Yeah.
Lady Tsunade is afraid of blood.
And I believe, actually, in Japan, there were complaints for a while. They said Tsunade was too strong and independent, so she had to be dumbed down a little bit, and she was.
Of course.
Yeah. And even the story is repetitive because you find out that Naruto and Sasuke are just reincarnations of these 2 dudes who always fight each other.
Yep.
So they're just previous incarnations of the same group of the same people who have the same personalities. So it's so lazy. And then they'll take as much time as they can because as long as you can get another 26 episodes, you can keep getting paid.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like Naruto looked at DBZ and said, "You think that's filler?"
I'll show you filler.
Alright, so moving on to the next topic we got here. Some actually good shows that are coming out. Ryan is trying so hard to make his gong act. I'm just going to let him have this one. There we go. Yeah. Why? But, okay, as I was saying, moving on to actually good shows here. There has now been announced on Netflix a new Lost in Space TV show happening.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Yes. Right now they are scheduled for 10 episodes. And I always am up for new good sci-fi. However, there's an issue. The showrunner, Zach Estrin, is the showrunner behind Prison Break and Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. Not Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. And the writers are the same writers behind the new Power Rangers, which we can't judge yet, and Gods of Egypt.
Ooh.
Oh, so this may be shit.
You had me at Gods of Egypt.
Yeah, exactly. That giant blockbuster that swept the nation by storm this year.
Christian Bale, did a really good job.
Yeah.
Gerard Butler.
A bunch of white Egyptians.
Yeah, oh my God. Sir Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well,
That's
he's
an
not
all-star
one, but-
cast.
They had an all-star cast. They legitimately did, and nobody cared.
And the movie tanked.
Yeah,
Totally.
it was awful. So it's funny because, again, Lost in Space is one of the first major sci-fi shows. It was, 68? But season 1 was in black and white, I remember that, and then the rest of the seasons were color, but it's a classic sci-fi show. But they got this awful, awful group running it, apparently. And so it just takes away any hope for it.
Lost in Space came out in 65. It ran from 65 to 68.
Okay. I was right about the 68, just wrong starting point.
Yeah. Is Gary Oldman and Matt LeBlanc and William Hurt, are they all going to are they going to return?
I wish.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I loved that movie when I was a kid. That was 98?
Yeah, let's also not forget Damian Harris, who played the older version of Will Robinson.
Oh, okay.
Who, Damian Harris, is the son of, whatchamacallit? Ed Harris, I want to say?
I think so.
That was the time period where all the Friends cast were trying to do movies. And, yeah, Joey.
Yeah, Joey.
Joey did this one film that flopped, and you never see him in a movie again, really.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think it was all that bad. I thought it was a fun sci-fi film.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't know anything about the old series or anything like that, and just going into it fresh, I was like, oh, it's a neat story.
But yeah, so now they're going to try and release it again as a TV series, which, I mean, I hope it's good. I do. It's just who they have behind it right now does not fill me with the most amount of confidence.
Oh, Jared Harris. That's it. Sorry. Jared Harris played. And Jared Harris was Richard Harris's son. Richard Harris was the original Dumbledore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your raspy voice. He was in Count of Monte Cristo.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. But I always actually liked Jared Harris. Like, he was also in Mad Men. And he actually, I thought, did a good job in Lost in Space, considering what it was. Nothing could save that movie.
But speaking of Netflix, and I'm just going to move into the next topic because there's not really much to go on with Lost in Space other than 10 episodes, and we hope it's going to be good, but we're not expecting it to be good. But finally, the thing I've been waiting for the longest time regarding Netflix, Daredevil is finally coming out on DVD and Blu-ray.
Yes.
In October.
And Netflix?
Well, it's going to stay on Netflix.
Are they going to have a special Electra-free cut?
Yes, we are talking about the Ben Affleck one, for those of you that don't know. They're finally releasing that masterpiece.
No, but you were talking about the show getting released.
Yes, the Netflix TV show. Which is, it's a legitimately good film, and yes, I know a lot of people, I keep seeing people talk about, it's like, why are they even bothering releasing this on DVD? It's because for idiots like me that like to have the physical copy and have a collection on their shelf of all the entire MCU, I'm going to buy it whenever it comes out. I've been waiting for it to come out forever. It's the one, that and Jessica Jones is the only thing that's been out for a while that should have been out that I do not own yet on Blu-ray.
Wait, is it the movie or the series that's coming
Legitimately,
out?
It's the
okay,
series.
little context there, because whenever I told Ryan of this earlier, I told him it was the movie, and I played it up as much as I could about how great the Ben Affleck one was, how much I was looking forward to that. So I think that's what's feeding to Ryan's confusion here.
Yeah, I thought you were just a shithead.
No, I was being a shithead, but I was just making fun of you, basically.
You're a terrible person.
Yes, I am.
I wish death upon you, sir.
I get that a lot.
Also,
Yeah,
Yeah, just do it. I'm going to give it to you.
yeah. No, I really enjoyed Daredevil as a show. The only thing, I think two things actually really kind of bothered me at my core in season 2.
Elektra?
Well, yeah, Elektra. Basically,
That's
well,
definitely-
not just Elektra, but the intro to Punisher was so cool. You didn't need Elektra or Blood Ninjas, you know?
Really didn't.
Hand ninjas?
Yeah, you didn't need hand ninjas.
I'm glad they did it.
I mean, like, and I can understand, like, but I felt like the Elektra ninjas thing, that should have been a season 3. You didn't need to have Punisher / ninjas. Especially because they had all this stuff they were building up to. Like, I thought the trial of Punisher was going to be, like, the whole season long.
I am kind of disappointed they didn't go that route more with it. Because, Punisher was definitely by far the best part about that whole
Season.
Yeah, what always, let me ask you something, Red.
His accent threw me off, though, a little bit, because he was supposed to be, like, a New Yorker guy and everything. And they even talk about how he grew up in New York. But he has this southern accent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't Shane from Walking Dead.
But he still talked like Shane a little bit.
Now,
Actually,
actually,
that like deep South kind of voice, but he still had
you
a
could
southern
tell.
hint in his voice.
yeah. Well, the actor I want to say is from Los Angeles. I want to say.
I think so.
Really?
Let's see. Yeah, he's not British.
John Barenthal.
Yeah, John Byrne. If you ever heard, he has like a very like almost kiddish accent, so I could understand him trying to like gravel it up a little bit. But I didn't even actually. One of the things I also loved was that he had the high and tight.
Yes.
Because they wanted, I hate actually, as, not that I did anything, I did the opposite of hardcore stuff when I was in the Army, but I hate when you see people who are supposed to be in the military have these full, luscious heads of hair. Which you can't do. Like, you just can't do it. You can't have hair like that. You can't have, like the Sam Eckhart or, just the giant, like, billowy hair. So he actually had the hindsight in his monologue when he was talking about how he just wanted to go to sleep.
Yeah. The one thing that really threw me off with the military thing was he was great at everything, except for then he stood up to fire his sniper rifle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that made no sense to me. Like, he's
or as a lieutenant, he probably wouldn't have been in the action even, and it would have been odd for an officer to go through sniper training. And I actually, my roommate was a Marine Corps sniper, and so it was interesting listening to him the stuff that they actually tried though. They tried to match up, and like aside from the standing up to fire the rifle, like they actually went, they talked about like PTSD and how he talked about how he didn't want to claim PTSD because that hurts people who actually have it.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. Like they tried in some places and they didn't try in others. Like the standing up for the sniper was very silly. But also he honestly should have had a spotter too because you need that.
Well, yeah, that was understandable. He didn't. That being said, like I want to have the entire MCU on my shelf. I don't care that it's still on Netflix. I don't care that there's easy access to it. I just want to have the entire thing. And why it's taken them so long to do this?
What kind of, like, hoarder collectionist, why? Like, as long as it's available, like...
Not everybody's going to have access to it. Not everybody has access to Netflix or just straight up internet all the time. Like, if you live out in the country, you have bad...
Oh, and also if you just want to play it on your TV, you want, like, a high-res copy.
Yeah,
so, like,
or a high-res... Yeah, you just want a high-res copy. Or, again, if you're just like me, you have you're a collector of stuff.
Or you like watching special features.
Yeah, special features. Well, granted, Netflix has a problem. Apparently, like with Orange is the New Black and House of Cards, when they release those on DVD, no special features whatsoever on those.
Oh, wow.
So I'm afraid they'll probably do that for this.
I hope not, because Netflix did a whole, prequel series. Season 1, they had all those, 10-minute, clips explaining the story behind the show.
Hopefully they do, but I mean, I don't know. They haven't on some of their other DVD releases.
That is true.
Me personally, as long as it's up somewhere I can watch it, I don't care. Because as long as I don't have to buy it. That being said, I recently bought Rick and Morty Season 2, and then a day later, it comes out on Hulu. I told you that I bought it.
I texted Ryan when I found that out. I was like, hey, so you know how you just bought Season 2 of Rick and Morty?
You did it with, like, a smiley face without putting a smiley face.
did.
I could see you.
Now I just imagine Dan Harmon, like, waiting for you, specifically, Ryan, to make the purchase and being like, got him. Release it.
We got it. Go ahead and put it on Hulu.
All right, so the last topic of the day, Alex, you wanted to talk about this, and then
yeah, this has been getting some traction online, mostly on like Reddit. It's on like the our gaming channel right now. But H3H3, who is a YouTuber, and he talks about stuff like he talked about like some Facebook controversy where people would steal YouTube content and post it on Facebook, and basically Facebook doesn't care because Zuckerberg's getting paid. And yeah, he touches on controversies like that. Well, there's a controversy currently around Counter-Strike and Valve in gambling, where there are these online Counter-Strike gambling sites where you you can trade the texture packs you get by buying them on Steam, which they cost like $3 to get a crate, and then you get these 3 items, and then depending on the random value, you can trade those in for actual cash through third-party recipients. Similar to like the gold farmers in WoW, where you can actually turn real money into or digital products into real money. And there are apparently 2 YouTubers who gamble online using these Counter-Strike sites, and it turned out that the gambling site they used was one that they both owned together.
See, I still don't understand. Like, we were talking about this a little earlier, though, and because people are saying that they're mad at Valve about this, and I still don't see how it's their problem, though.
And actually, in the H3H3 video, they talk about how there's a class action lawsuit against Valve right now because of this, because they are arguing that Valve is allowing this unregulated market coerce children who are under the age of 18 or under the age of 21 into actual gambling. That they spend money, like their parents' money, buying these crates like over and over and over again, which is against the spirit of the law in terms of only grown-ups should be gambling. You usually got to be a grown-up to pee your money away, or to throw it away on stupid stuff. And then you have these parents whose these kids are getting like actual gambling addiction and buying tons of crates because they're trying to hit it big like these YouTube stars.
And that's the whole thing. I just find it weird because I can see where you can kind of say, hey, you guys should do something about this, but at the same time, I'm having trouble seeing where you can just point fingers and go, hey, it's your fault.
Yeah, well, and the argument is that Valve is allowing this unregulated market to take place, and the style that they have the crates, and there's this market that has basically come up around Valve's products. I agree that Valve isn't technically liable, but stuff that is happening around Valve is creating a lot of problems for a lot of like young impressionable kids.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's just where we're getting the gray area of it and everything like that. Like, it's a crappy situation.
I mean, yeah. If this market falls, then they could use, for instance, a random number generator and bring up the same sort of system. So how is it any more Valve's fault than it would be, say, randomnumbergenerator.com? It's the people that are putting these places where you can sell, like, the value of, getting the number 7 or the value of this particular
fault, not Valve.
Pack, as opposed to, like, say, the owner of the random number generator site or Valve themselves, right?
That's what I would think.
I would agree with that. And it's if they could simply like clamp down like on preventing those like child gambling sites, I think that would be a huge step in the right direction. I don't necessarily think all the blame should go on Valve, but I do think something in general should be done to prevent kids from gambling on these sites.
Oh, kids from gambling, not gambling on kids.
Well,
totally different concept.
Two very separate things there.
Like bum fights, but with kids.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
the Hunger Games.
Yeah. It's not like daycare fight club.
First rule about
we
daycare
should start
fight
that,
club.
guys. We can make some money.
Oh, man.
It almost brings the question. You guys remember how McDonald's got into that huge legal battle back in the day about their supersize?
Oh God, yeah, because that movie.
Yeah.
Supersize Me.
And should McDonald's have been held responsible for people getting fat?
Well, it was the whole fact that they were pushing the supersize thing.
Right.
They were actively if you worked at McDonald's, you were told ask if they want to upsize it to supersize it.
But that's just due to the nature of the market itself.
That is true.
And
so it kind
if
of
there's a
falls in the
market
same-
for it, then as a business owner, it's on you to sell it. Otherwise, you're not, being a good.
Yeah.
But it's also the part of a responsible consumer to decline service.
Exactly. So that's where you get in the whole gray area point where who's the most responsible, where do we draw the line of where the company ends and where the customer should be held responsible for their own actions.
Exactly.
Personally, I say we sell everything, and if people are stupid about it and want to kill themselves on buying too much
texture packs.
Let's say, what'd you say? 2.5 pounds of sugar will kill you.
Yeah.
If they want to be irresponsible, buy 2.5 pounds of sugar and eat it in one setting, then that's their fault, not the sugar manufacturers.
Now we're getting into political section of this, which we could go on for a while about that, but I'm going to refrain because that's not what this podcast is about.
Not yet.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, just my only quibble is that I totally agree that, for example, if a kid is buying a whole bunch of stuff on Steam that they shouldn't, you shouldn't have your credit card information accessible to a child on Steam without any restrictions or oversight.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing with these Counter-Strike gambling sites and whatnot. I do agree that parents need to be way better about just why are you giving kids access to credit cards? Don't give them money. Children should be put them in a doghouse out back and feed them bacon strips regular child rearing.
Yeah.
That's how much I know about kids.
Children don't have rights.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of these Counter-Strike gambling sites will be oh, you only have to be 13 years old to buy stuff. Let's up that to 18, please.
Well,
I feel like
at that, I know how to add 18 to the current year.
Yeah, which I've been doing ever since I had access to the internet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those were for perfectly non-illicit means. I just wanted access to, to shop online and to vote for things on. That's the only reason I ever used that as a kid. No other reason to do that on the internet.
I wasn't going to any adult entertainment sites. What are you talking about?
No. The internet's
in fact, nothing let me know that nothing let me know. Oh, you finally reached a good place on the internet. When it's oh, you got to be 18.
Yeah.
I was well, this is gonna. Now I really want to see it.
I was always born for my birthday was always legitimately January 1st, 1900.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of centuries old or 90 plus, old men just prowling around websites. Which there has to be the majority of people on born with the birthday of January 1st for any online polling. That has to be a thing because it's always just the easiest one.
Yeah.
It's January 1st and the year 1980, 1900. Who cares?
I always felt creative with it, and I always chose December 25th than 1900.
December 25th, the year 0. You are Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, if you really want to go obscure, you could say August 29th, 1997, if that's old enough to be 18. Because that's Judgment Day in the Terminator franchise.
Yes.
I was born in Skynet woke.
Yep.
Okay, so the final actual topic was something we talked about a little bit last week. God damn it, Ryan.
There it is. Sweet music.
Is something I know that you guys are super excited about talking about, and I have no idea what happened during it. But Game of Thrones finale happened last week.
What show?
Game of Thrones.
What?
One of games and there's thrones.
Alex is not. He's not aware of this show. I don't think.
Games and there's thrones.
Okay, so it's like a game show.
Yes.
It's like Top Gear or something. Oh, but with chairs.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, with chairs. And people in chairs.
Yeah. So there was a season finale of Game of Thrones, and I would say that it's probably the closest Game of Thrones will ever get to a genuinely optimistic season finale.
Yeah, they don't do nice things, so this season is freaking me the fuck out.
Yeah. Making me real uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing actually gets me more paranoid than hearing someone say "King in the North."
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Those were
Those are murder words.
Yeah.
Also, they did a weird thing where they started the episode off with, like, perhaps the most dramatic thing.
The Godfather's Piano Sonata.
Yeah. Yeah.
And spoiler alert, we're going to talk about that Game of Thrones season finale, so cover your ears. But
Joe.
I've already had way too much of the show spoiled for me.
Well, they actually, the director, the same guy who did episode 9, Miguel Sapochnik, I want to say, he also directed season 10 or episode 10.
Yes.
And not season 10, but
He's gone in the future. Those episodes.
We gotta go back, Morty.
Or as in not Arrested Development, in Parks and Recreation, they're like, I still don't understand why Daenerys had to marry Jack Sparrow, and he goes, I told you it makes sense if you read the books, because it takes place years in the future. But yeah, so after I watched episode 9, I was like, I don't think it could get better than this. And then I saw episode 10, and I was like, well, I'm shutting up. This is fantastic.
Yeah, pretty much. The only thing that didn't happen that I had hoped would happen, and again, shut your ears, Joe, was Cersei dying at Jaime's hands.
Well, Cersei actually, the High Sparrow, I was talking actually about it with Chris, because Chris actually didn't, Chris had some problems, but he complains about weird stuff.
Yeah.
But the High Sparrow pulled a Ned Stark, where he told Cersei that he was going to take her out of power, and he gave her time to prepare. And you don't ever give Cersei time to prepare. That girl is crazy.
Yes.
Because in Ned Stark did in season 1, where he's like, I don't like you, I know your children are born by incest, and I'm going to depose you. And Cersei's like, right now? And he goes, no, you have until tomorrow. And she goes, okay.
Yeah.
See you in the throne room. And it happened at the end of the season, where the High Sparrow is like, oh, I don't like you, Cersei. I've humiliated you. I made you walk naked through the streets, and, to people throwing crap at you and stuff. And I'm going to remove you from power by taking your son's confidence and using it to depose you. And Cersei's like, oh, you're doing it right now? And he goes, no, I'm going to release you back into the Red Keep. I'm going to give you a couple weeks. And Cersei's like, okay. I'll see you. I'll see you at the party. Bring all of your sparrows and stuff. Make sure they're all there at the Sept. I'll see you there. Yeah. Saturday morning. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
I've only read the first 2 books, and I know not to do that.
Yeah. It's just a classic mistake. He told Cersei. She knew exactly what he wanted to do, and so she was like, all right. Oh, what's that? What's underneath King's Landing? Wildfire? Oh man. It'd suck if there was like an accident or something.
I know.
Yeah.
With a candle? Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of candles?
Yeah, a bunch of candles.
Yeah.
I actually, you know what? Kudos to whoever set that up, because they had to, like, drip or leak the wildfire on the ground and then put candles and not set themselves on fire.
Well, if you notice, she used kids for everything. And also, they set that up while the trial was still going on, so even if it would have went off early, it would have still worked.
Yeah.
So that was pretty ingenious of her.
But can you imagine being the kid having to put the candles down and not set anything on fire?
Or knocking a candle over?
Ignorance is bliss when you're a kid, so here, set this candle on this magic liquid, and then I'll give you candy. Like, for all he knew, it was like, alright, I just gotta get this thing, and I got like a buttload of candy.
Yeah, by the way, that is all you have to do is give candy. That's, like, you don't even have to give them real wages.
We saw what happened with Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. If I was a starving kid in King's Landing, I'd be like, hey, can I get some food?
Yeah, pretty much. If you can give me some food, I'll do anything you want me to.
Yeah, like, no, I don't need candy. Like, I need dinner.
Like meat.
Yeah. Preferably made out of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fantastic season finale. Like, the last 2 episodes were just awesome.
Yeah.
They had a lot of good things going on. My boy, Jon Snow, favorite character in the show, he's still holding it down. One of the things I actually liked is showing how Jon Snow's not a smart person. I actually really enjoy that, because usually when you have shows and you have main characters, they like to have people doing, like, everything awesome, and I hate that. You know, like Tyrion, even though he was brilliant, he had trouble handling stuff in the city because he didn't have dragons or an army. So you see him, like, struggle to hold stuff together, and he's like, I can't do all this on my own. I'm just one person. Mm-hmm. And Jon Snow's the same way. He's like, I'm not a tactical genius, and I make really dumb decisions when my family's on the line.
Well, yeah, and even the same thing with Arya, which I think was Chris's main problem with her storyline, But she had a lot of trips and tumbles, but her part of the finale was by far my favorite. She's my favorite character.
Oh yeah, but I would never want to actually meet her in person.
No, never.
I could meet Jon Snow and be like, hey, what's up? And be reasonably assured that I would still be alive by the end of that conversation.
Well, I mean, you didn't do it. I mean, you'd have to land on her list. Like, so I'd be cool with meeting her. Like,
but I mean,
don't do anything bad.
You're probably on her list.
Can you imagine, like, saying hi to her in the kitchens as she's baking Frey kid people into the pie? There's no point in Arya's day that I want to accidentally stumble in on, because all of them involve me getting murdered too.
Wait, is she still stuck in that one, like...
No, she got out of the house of the, she broke out of her contract, basically.
Okay.
She is now officially a freelance shape-shifting assassin.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
Yes.
okay, I did not know about that.
She's, like, murder...
She can, well, what she does is she can take the face from people who are dead and wear it.
To her own, yeah.
Now, usually, most of the time, faceless men they tend to stick within their own gender, so I haven't seen a male faceless one really be a female or vice versa. But so usually it's within their own gender. But yeah, she goes to the twins, and she kills Lord Frey by feeding him his sons baked into a pie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
And he's like, where's Lothar? And she's like, they're right here. You know, he's like, yeah. He's like, girl, where are my sons? And she's like, they're right here, my lord.
Yeah.
And he's just eating his pie. And she gives him another slice. He goes, where are my sons? And she's like, they're right here, my lord. And he goes, what? And she goes, no, they're right here. And she lifts up the pie, and there's like a finger in it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's gone full on berserk.
Then she removed her the face and showed herself and was like, just want you to know that a Stark did this.
Yeah. The Starks send their... Yeah, it's like...
Face, like...
The Frey send their regards, the Starks get revenge themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so Arya is now full on an unbridled psychopath who can literally be anyone or anywhere.
I really... And I know we know who's on her list, but I hope that Cersei is next. Like,
well, it's been prophesized that Cersei's going to be choked to death by her younger brother.
No, there was a prophecy that she was going to be choked to death by the younger brother.
Yeah, younger brother.
It's the high Valyrian word for younger brother or younger sibling. It might be. So it could be somebody else's younger sibling.
Well, I mean, but I think what they want to do is I think they're going to do a bait and switch where everybody thinks Tyrion is going to kill her. Because Tyrion's actually really good at choking women to death, as he's demonstrated throughout the show.
I don't think
if you need a woman to choke to death, Tyrion is your guy. We watched him do it, but I don't think they were going to go that route. I think it's going to be Jaime, because I think Jaime is going to kill Cersei to stop her from burning the city down.
You mean more of it down, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think people are thinking that anymore. I think now people are thinking Jaime because he's the readily present and available brother.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, and also, like, his,
So maybe they're doing a double bait and switch, and once Tyrion gets there, he does his choking thing.
Yeah. And I think Jaime, he's mentioned before being the Kingslayer, he will compromise all of his morals to save King's Landing if he has to. No one's ever going to thank him for it, but he'll do it because he doesn't want to watch, like, 500,000 people die. And I think he'll stop Cersei. Because at this point, Cersei has no army, she has no forces, everybody's up in rebellion or declaring independence against her. Hell, 2 of the great houses have already hopped over and brought ships to Daenerys. The season ends, actually, you see Dornish and Martell ships in Daenerys' fleet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They have, like, the sails for, like, the symbol of Dorne, the symbol of the Tyrells. But, so, Cersei has no troops. The only card she has in her deck at this point is to burn different parts of the city to stop other people from getting control of it.
Yeah, and the last time that somebody used fire just to burn people, it was Jaime that kind of, like, ended it. So
yeah,
it would kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Also, man, that guy can't leave King's Landing. Because every time he leaves, something terrible happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to just stay.
Yeah, can you imagine him coming back from the Twins? He's like, all right, I got a lot done. Hopefully, you know, the Freys they're still holding on to River Run. And then he gets here, oh, what do I miss? God damn it.
Well, I mean, he did in this episode, and he kind of did. Like, was like, why are things burning? And then she had, like, her Emperor Palpatine walk down the aisle.
Oh, yeah, she had the coolest evil villain outfit I've seen.
Yeah, she, like, straight up made her Sith robes.
Oh, but also, Tommen's death was heartbreaking. I felt really bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude just, like...
Man, that guy just wanted to play with Sir Pounce.
He really did.
Well,
All he wanted to do is he wanted to be a good person, he wanted to have sex with Marjorie, and he wanted to play with his cat. And to which Cersei was like, how dare you? And literally burned, basically, the Game of Thrones version of the Vatican. She blew up the Vatican.
A little bit.
A lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that blew up a lot. Like, there were just blocks blown up.
Well, I think wildfire is similar to napalm, where it just keeps burning. It'll burn in water, you know? And so it's magic fire, basically. So it's... But yeah, a fantastic episode. I loved it. And then so that this is where I think it's going. I think Jaime's going to be the one to take her down, so that way she doesn't burn down the rest of the city.
Yep, very likely.
And then he'll be 2 for 2 for killing monarchs.
Yeah.
You got to keep that record.
Slayer.
Well, yeah, and Frey chides him. He's like, "Oh, we're both Kingslayers." And I know what Jaime was thinking. He's like, "Well, crap, I got to beat Frey's record. I got to be the Kingslayer. I can't be a co-slayer."
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't share this title with anyone.
Yep. Well, and also, I guess we're past talking about, like, super spoiler alerts, but also Jon Snow is now King of the North, and it looks like the Vale at the same time.
Yeah, and Littlefinger didn't look happy about that. Like, he lost his power, like, right there.
I think he wanted Sansa to quarrel with Jon and to keep them busy so he could take more power.
Yeah.
People only turn to Littlefinger to give him power when chaos prevents other people from assuming the roles.
Yeah.
So as long as everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, Littlefinger doesn't really have a leg to stand on.
Pretty much.
All right. So yeah, that is. That's our week. This week, guys. That is not gonna go away, is it?
He's gonna add a gong sound in the show too.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh.
Yeah, probably.
Most definitely going to. Actually, we'll put up a poll. Since...
No.
Yes.
That one is not going up.
I'm putting up a poll.
Ryan's salty that he got his cat named
Show Enough. Show Enough.
We'll see how many people like the gong. Thumbs up or thumbs down the gong.
Thumbs down.
So we'll know where that thumb came from. Joe's ass.
Well, today is July 4th, 2016. This is episode 3 of Astronauts Anonymous. Bringing you nerdy news one step at a time. Vit, you want to bring us out?
Yeah, Astronauts Anonymous. We have concerning concerns.
See you all next week. Have a good night.